Hey, it's Tara, your yoga bestie. And we have another class where we don't need any props in particular, but per usual, I love to have the blocks. And we can start out however you want to. So if you want to come into a reclined space, seated, child's pose, whatever's calling your name, just make yourself nice and comfortable. And my buddy Lionel's here, so you know it's cozy time. And once you find your place, just go ahead and settle in, determine where you want your arms and legs to be, maybe wiggle in that space a little bit, and then go ahead and close your eyes as we start to tap into our Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose, taking this time to let go of any thoughts or worries so that you can just allow yourself to be present for this practice. As we inhale, we'll feel the space right below the navel start to lift. As it draws upward, feeling an expansion through the belly, the side bodies, the rib cage, and that breath draws all the way up to where it lifts the collarbones. And then on our exhalation, we'll feel our belly button draw in towards the spine, allowing us to use all three parts of the lungs. Our Ujjayi breath is an audible breath, so we'll hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose. And let's go ahead and start a rhythm where we inhale to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continuing with this rhythm, knowing that you can always add or subtract any of those counts, and that our breath could fluctuate throughout our practice today. While you're tuning in, we've been talking about the chakras in my class. We're currently in the 6th chakra, which is also known as the third eye chakra. It's located in between the eyebrows. It's associated with the color indigo, so you might envision an indigo light coming from your third eye. Also, in Sanskrit, the third eye chakra is ajna, A-J-N-A, and it means command or perception, representing the idea that your intuition commands your thoughts and actions when they're balanced. It's associated with the element of light, the sense of intuition, and the mantra of Om. The affirmation that I have for you that goes along with our 6th chakra, our third eye chakra, is I observe without judgment. So inhaling, I observe, exhaling without judgment. So please use this as an idea throughout your practice to be super non-judgmental about anything that's going on. Just allow yourself to be so present. And if you notice any sort of judgments coming into your mind, see if you can then use that opportunity to tell yourself something nice. Because the more that we don't judge ourselves, the more we don't judge others. Because that really does come from an internal place when we do that. So let's take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then finding some movement. So if you're on your back, a full body stretch. If you're in a different position, just kind of seeing what the body needs, kind of wiggling around, just kind of noticing how it feels in this moment. And then either from a reclined space or from our seated position, we'll bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice. And maybe that intention is, I observe without judgment, or whatever else comes to mind. Please honor that. And let's take a big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. All right, we'll open up our eyes, bringing some movement into our practice. We're going to be meeting at the top of our mat in our forward fold. So feel free to separate your feet as wide as you like. Feel free to have blocks underneath your hands, or maybe find an arm variation like reaching for opposite elbows or bringing the arms behind the back. And feel free to bend those knees a lot as we shift our weight forward, coming out of the heels towards the ball mounds of the feet. Shake the head out. Taking a big breath in. Exhale. And then let's roll it all the way up to standing. We'll draw those shoulders up, back and down, standing up nice and tall in our mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. So either swan diving or bringing the hands through heart center. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. And then let's plant the palms as we step it back into our plank or push-up position, super strong, working our weight forward towards the base of the fingers so we're not sitting near the heel of the hand or near the wrist. And then let's lower all the way onto our bellies for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. We come all the way down. Tops of the feet come into the mat, hands are underneath the shoulders as we inhale, lifting up Cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Exhale, we lower. And we'll start to move through these on our own. I like to try different arm placements or hand placements. Well, I like this one, coming onto my fingertips in a wide stance. Also, allowing me to go into some shoulder dips here, which feel nice as we move with our breath, lifting up and down. And the next time that the forehead lowers, go ahead and make your way into your first down dog. So tucking those toes under, we'll lift up the hips, and we'll start to find some movement here so we can bicycle out those legs. Move the hips from side to side. Check in with the body. Full breath in here. Exhale. And then let's shift it forward, plank pose, super strong. Exhale, we'll slowly lower, maybe to a hover this time. Inhaling into your Cobra, or maybe up dog if you're ready. And we exhale, down dog, lifting up those hips. From here, we'll go ahead and lift up our right leg, opening up the hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. We stay in this full body yawn, or we can make some circles. Going in one direction. Going in the other direction. Inhale, we straighten that leg. Exhale, lower those toes onto your left heel. So really reinforcing that heel drawing down so you feel that space in the back of the calf muscle. Let your head relax as you push your chest towards your legs and your gaze is past the legs. We'll shift it forward, keeping those toes onto the heel in this plank pose. As we exhale, knee draws to nose as we round the upper back. And then we straighten that leg where we can hold, or maybe we take a push-up, lowering up and down. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, straighten, we hold, or we take the push-up. Exhale, knee to nose. We straighten and hold, or we take the push-up. Nice, and then we'll bend that leg so that the foot is going up towards the sky or the ceiling, and we'll move into our wild thing. So this back bend here, maybe finding some movement, like making some circles with the arm, bending and straightening the legs. We inhale, lifting up. Exhale, right hand comes down, and then right knee comes down as you face the long edge of the mat towards the left side. Moving into gate pose, so reaching that arm up and overhead as we breathe into that side body. Big breath in. Exhale, and then bring that hand down. Lift up the left arm. Stay here or lift up the left leg. Maybe reach the arm up overhead, or maybe bend that leg, finding that foot or ankle as we push into the hand to create our back bend here. Inhale. Exhale, we release that foot or we lift it up if we aren't with the leg extended. We're swinging that leg all the way to the front of the mat, and we'll swing those right toes back or our runner's lunge. So you can have those blocks to each side of the foot if that's helpful. Finding some space here as you shift forward and back. And then next time that we shift it forward, hold it here, moving into half moon. So we're gonna open it up, reaching that right arm and leg up, flexing through that foot. Working your weight towards the ball mound of your left foot so that you're not sitting back into the heel. Inhale. Exhale, knee draws to chest, moving into figure 4 chair or funky chair. So that ankle comes above the knee. We sit it back into the heel. We could have our arms forward, hands to heart center, arms onto the legs. You can find a forward fold variation. Maybe if you have blocks, that's helpful, or you can reach for the floor and the mat. What's most important is that we're working our weight back into that left heel so we feel all of that joy in the outer hip. Inhale. And then as we exhale, step the right foot back, runner's lunge to our twist. So right hand down, left arm reaches up, stacking shoulder on top of shoulder. Stay here, come to the outer edges of both feet for horizon lunge as we reach towards the back. Inhale. And then on the exhale, bring that hand down. Make your way to your down dog. So you could take your vinyasa or not. And then we'll move to our left side. So left leg lifts as we open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. We hold or we make those circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. Inhale, straightens that leg. And then we place our toes onto that right heel, reinforcing that calf moving into the mat as we push our chest towards our thighs. Big breath in. Exhale. And then shift it forward on your inhale, coming into your plank pose with those toes on the heel. Exhale, knee draws the nose, rounding the upper back. And then we straighten that leg and hold, or we take our push-up. Knee to nose. Straighten, hold, or push up. Once more. Knee to nose. Straighten and hold, or push up. And then that foot goes towards the ceiling or the sky as we move into our wild thing. Inhale, reaches that arm up overhead. Exhale, brings your gaze to your right hand and your left hand down as we come into the plank pose, facing the other long edge of the mat. Reaching that left arm overhead as we come into that side bend. Big breath in. Exhale, lower that left hand to the front of the mat, setting it for that supported side plank. We can hold it here. We can lift up that foot or maybe reach the arm up overhead. Maybe we bend that leg, finding that foot or ankle to create the back bend as that foot pushes into our hand. Inhale. Exhale, we release or lift, or we're there because we're just going to swing that foot towards the front of the mat, moving into our runner's lunge. So always have the option of finding those blocks as we start to shift forward and back, breathing space into this side. Next time that we shift it forward, we'll make our way into our half moon. So lifting up the left arm and leg as we open it up to the other side. Flexing through that foot. And then we bring that knee into our chest, moving into our figure four chair. So bringing that ankle above the knee. Again, arms can be any of the versions that were pointed out previously. We just want to make sure that we're working our weight back into that right heel. Inhaling. Exhale. And then step that foot back, runner's lunge to our twist. So left hand down, right arm reaches up. And we'll hold it here. We come into our horizon lunge, come to the outer edges of both feet as we reach towards the back. Right hand lowers. Make your way to your down dog, either via vinyasa or just stepping it back there. Inhale. Exhale. Bending the knees, we gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up, reach it back. Open up the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float back. Moving through our vinyasa or taking it right to down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Bend those knees, gazing forward. Step or float. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we make our way to our down dog. Taking the sun salutation A or taking your version. Big breath in. Exhale. Bend the knees as we gaze forward. We step or float. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step it back. Making our way to our down dog. Or any resting position of choice, because that concludes our warm-up. So well done. Just taking a moment to check in with your breath, check in with your body, see what you need. If you're new to my practice, then you don't know what we do. We do 2 main sequences where we pull from the warm-up that we just did, and we take the first one a little bit slower, and then we go through it 2 more times, repeating at a quicker pace. And then we move into the second sequence and do it in the same way. So I call the first one peanut butter and the second one jelly. And then at the very end, which is my favorite part, we bring together these 2 sequences for one delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich. Yeah, that was a mouthful. But it's great. We get repetition in, and you can always move at your pace. You can always decide to do the little add-ons that I offer up, which we have quite a few today. But we are only facing forward, which is very unusual for me. We're not moving all around the mat because we can't have it all sometimes. We can't have the tricks and the sequences. So today's starts out, or our peanut butter starts out in our child's pose. So I know that most of the time when we go to child's pose, we automatically bring our arms out in front of us. Let's bring our arms by our sides with the palms facing up. As we come into this space, we can inhale, I observe. Exhale without judgment. I observe without judgment. Okay, child's pose, arms down by the sides. Maybe find a little bit of a wiggle. Maybe move your forehead along the mat, just kind of giving some attention to that third eye. Big breath in. Exhale. And then moving into rabbit pose, we'll reach for our heels, lifting up the hips as we keep our head onto the mat. So you're going to feel that opening in the upper back and shoulders. Good breath in. Exhale. Let's roll it all the way up. Torso is lifted. We bring the arms behind the back, interlacing the fingers as we work those shoulders down, coming to this variation of camel pose. So either keeping our gaze straight ahead, up, or maybe you can drop that head back. Any version you choose, we're bringing those hips forward. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Warrior 1, so step the right foot forward and come into that 45 degrees with the back leg. And then we'll lift up through the chest as the arms are staying behind the back, setting up for humble warrior. So both shoulders come to the inside of that right knee as we let the head relax. Draw that right hip towards the center line of the body. Big breath in. Exhale, stay low, but bring your hands down for lizard pose. So we're going to lift up that back heel, and this might be our lizard pose. Lowering the knee might be our lizard pose. So I want you to kind of figure out what feels best into your body. I'm going to offer up flying lizard. So it's an arm balance that I think looks just like broken running man, to be honest. We're working our shoulder underneath this right leg, and then we bring our foot towards our mouth, which is something I do quite often. And then we'll start to shift forward to lift up that back leg. So this is our flying lizard. It's not very far off the mat. And an easier version that is also a little bit more aesthetically pleasing is when you lift up, you start to bring that left foot up towards the ceiling. Yeah. So no worries if it's not your cup of tea today. It's all good. We got lizard pose. Big breath in. Exhale. Moving into half moon. So maybe have your block or a prop there as we open it up. So we start to get into the familiar from our warm up. Exhale, knee draws into chest, moving into our figure 4 chair. So sitting back into that heel, finding your version. Hopefully it feels a little bit more warmed up since we've been here already. Sit it back. Inhale. And then as we exhale, step it back, runner's twist, left hand down, right arm up. Option to come into that horizon lunge, come to the outer edges of both feet. And then we bring our hand down. We can go right to our child's pose because that is our peanut butter sequence, or we can move through our vinyasa and then find child's pose so that we move right into the other side. Arms down by your sides, palms face up. Full breath in. Exhale. Reaching for those heels, we lift up into our rabbit pose. Feeling that space in the upper back and shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, and then let's roll it all the way up. Arms are behind the back, interlacing the unusual way, so opposite thumb on top for this variation of camel pose. So find where your focal point needs to be, or your drishti. Big breath in. Exhale, we gaze forward. Warrior one, so left foot forward, back foot spins to the 45 as we set up those legs. And then we lift up through the chest as we inhale. Exhale, coming into that humble warrior. Both shoulders to the inside of that knee, drawing that hip towards the center line of the body. Stay low, lizard pose. So lifting up the back heel, same options as before. So check out what feels good to you on this side. If you are wanting to play, we're bringing the left shoulder underneath that knee, making sure the back leg is lifted as we start to bring that foot towards our mouth, and then hinge forward, maybe kick up towards the ceiling if you like that variation. So it's all in what you want to do today. So no worries, no judgment, right? We're just observing. We're curious, not judgmental, just like Ted Lasso. Take one more breath in. Exhale. Half moon. So maybe find your prop as you lift it up, opening up towards the side of the room. Inhale. Exhale, knee draws into chest. We're moving into that figure four chair, our funky chair. So we sit it back. Inhale. Exhale, step it back, runner's twist. Right hand down, left arm reaches up. Maybe coming into our horizon lunge. And then left hand lowers as we make our way to our child's pose. And we'll start to pick up the pace a little bit on this. So arms down by your sides. Find those heels. Inhaling into our rabbit pose. Exhale, release. We roll it up. Interlacing the fingers behind us as we lift up for our camel. And then we gaze it forward. Warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, humble. Release, staying low. Lizard, remember we're just going right into the next part unless you want to take that detour. So half moon. From our half moon, moving into our figure four chair. From our figure four chair, we step it back, runner's twist, perhaps horizon. So it's a lot faster, right? We'll bring that hand down as we make our way to our down dog. I'm sorry, our child's pose. Maybe your down dog. Maybe if you're moving to the vinyasa, right? So child's pose, arms by your sides. Inhale, lifting up into your rabbit. Exhale, release as we roll it up. Interlace the unusual way for this camel. And then we gaze forward, warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, humble. Release, stay low, find that lizard. Just move into our half moon. Knee draws into chest. We move into our figure four chair. To runner's twist, right hand down, left arm reaches up. Coming to the outer edges of both feet as we reach to the back. And then we make our way to child's pose, however we want to get there. Doing great. Inhale, rabbit. Exhale, release those heels as we roll it up. Inhaling into our camel. Exhale, gaze forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, humble. We release, lizard, so that we can inhale into our half moon. Exhale, knee draws in. Funky chair pose as we sit it back. And then left foot steps back. We inhale, runner's twist, horizon, making our way to our child's pose. So always have that option for the vinyasa. One more side, inhale, rabbit. Exhale, release. Inhale, camel. Exhale, gaze forward as we step the left foot forward, right foot back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, humble warrior. We release those hands for lizard. Inhale into our half moon. Exhale, bringing that knee in as we move into our funky chair. And then we step it back. Inhale, runner's twist, horizon. And then we make our way to child's pose or any resting position of choice, because that concludes our peanut butter section. Awesome work. So check in with your breath. Listen to what you need. Take a moment just to let that settle in. Inhaling, I observe. Exhale without judgment. I observe without judgment. All right, it's jelly time, so let's make our way to down dog. Right leg lifts. Bring those toes onto the heel as we shift it forward, coming into our plank pose. Exhale, knee to nose. We straighten that leg and hold, or we take the push-up. We're only doing one. And then that foot goes towards the ceiling as we move into wild thing. Really lifting up through those hips. Inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down, right knee comes down for gate pose. So we're lifting up that torso as we reach the arm up and over. Breathing into that side body. Inhale. Exhale, hand comes to the front of the mat. We stay here like we did in the warm-up. We can lift up, maybe we find our foot. So this is an addition. This will not be a stopping point when we pick up the pace. Just know that you would always add it if that feels good in your practice. Big breath in. Exhale, we release. Swing that foot to the front of the mat. And we start coming into standing splits from here. So we can always have those blocks underneath us as we really push the floor away, drawing that right heel up towards the ceiling. And feel free to work any variations from here. So if you like handstand hops or anything along those lines, perfect. I do have something special I'm going to share with you though. So I told you we're doing some tricks today, should you want to. So give yourself a little bit of space at the front of the mat. Maybe moving from our standing split into our crow pose. You can bring that knee to your right tricep, left knee comes to left tricep, and then we bring those feet up. So we're going against gravity by coming in this way, but you can also come from standing split, malasana, and try it out. Or maybe you just go into your forward fold. No, that's always an option. Something else I want to share with you is if you're coming into that crow pose, maybe you play with tripod headstand. So getting into that third eye again, right? So bringing that head down. We'll reach those legs up towards the ceiling if possible. And if you want extra little fun, flex through the feet. Very important that you flex through the feet for the toesies. We'll extend the legs right out in front of us as we float it back to chaturanga. So we lift up our head as we float those legs back. Totally optional, and it makes your hair look great. Not really, but that's the end. So know that you can go from standing split to forward fold and be done with it, or you can add all these extras, which we'll go through again on the other side. And then we won't see them again unless you add them. So down dog. From our down dog, left leg lifts, lowering those toes onto the heel. We shift it forward. Exhale, knee draws to nose. Inhale, straighten, hold, or come into that push-up. And then that foot goes towards the sky as we come into our wild thing. Really lifting up through the hips. Exhale, left hand comes down. Left knee comes down for gate pose as we lift up the torso, reaching that left arm overhead for that side bend. Exhale, left hand comes to the front of the mat. We hold here. We lift up that leg. Maybe we find our back bend here. Yeah, and then we'll release that leg, or we lift it up as we swing it forward, coming into our standing splits from here. So all the options with the standing splits, of course. Feel free to make this yours in any way that you want to. But the option I'm going through is to crow pose. From our standing split, we're bringing that left knee to the left tricep, right knee to the right tricep as we lift up those legs for crow pose. Option to bring the head down and lift up into your tripod headstand. Option then to flex your feet, bring them out in front of you, and then lift up the head to come into chaturanga. I know it's a lot. So truthfully, just options. What's nice about being exposed to things too, if they're new to you, is that you can see possibility, and you learn a lot just by being shown things. So again, observe without judgment. I do not pick the affirmation for the class, so this time, most of the times it works out really well. Let's pick up the pace here to see how different it is when we don't have all those little add-ons. So, from our down dog, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, lower those toes onto the heel. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, we extend and stay, or we take the push-up. And then we move into our wild thing. Exhale, right hand lowers, right knee lowers. Gate pose, reaching up and over. And then our hand comes down, left arm reaches up, and we'll swing that leg all the way forward, coming into our standing splits, into forward fold or malasana. So whatever is working for your body today. And that's what we've got. Make your way to your down dog. Left leg lifts, toes on heel. We shift it forward to our plank. Exhale, knee to nose. We straighten and hold, or we take the push-up. And then move into our wild thing. Left hand and knee lower, setting up for gate pose as we reach up and over. And the left hand comes down. Right arm and leg lift. We swing that foot forward as we come into our standing split. To our forward fold or malasana or any of the other additions. You're doing great. Down dog. Right leg lifts. Lower those toes down. Inhale, forward. Exhale, knee to nose. We straighten and hold, or we take the push-up. To our wild thing. Right hand and knee lower. Swing it forward. Standing split. I know it moves really fast, so know that you can always move at your pace. We got one more side. So left leg lifts. Lower those toes. We inhale forward. Exhale, knee to nose. We straighten, hold, or find the push-up to our wild thing. Left hand and knee lower. Gate pose. And then left hand comes down, right arm and leg lift. Swinging it forward for our standing splits. All right. How we doing? All right. As you can see, it's an exciting point in time, as Lionel would like to point out. It's peanut butter and jelly time. So we're bringing these two sequences together one last time. Hey, buddy, are you excited about peanut butter and jelly time? Are you excited? All right, let's do it. We're going to meet in child's pose. I observe without judgment. I observe without judgment. All right, we're going to do this, bubs. We're doing this. So we're coming into rabbit pose. We lift it all the way up, coming into our camel. And then we gaze forward. Warrior one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, humble warrior. We'll release, coming into that lizard pose to our half moon. Half moon has us moving into our figure four chair as we sit it back into that heel. And then we step it back, runner's twist, maybe horizon. Hand lowers, one-legged down dog, which is perfect because we're bringing those toes right onto that left heel. We shift it forward, knee to nose, and straighten. push up or not to wild thing. And then right hand and knee lower for gate pose. We bring our hand down, supported side plank, swinging that left foot forward as we move into our standing splits to Malasana. All right, that's one side done. Make your way to your child's pose, however you want to get there. And then we come into rabbit, lifting up for our camel pose. And then gaze forward, left foot forward, right foot back for warrior one. Inhale, exhale, humble. Stay low as we release for lizard, moving into our half moon. And then knee draws in as we come into our figure four chair. We step it back, runner's twist, to our horizon lunge. And then left hand lowers, left leg lifts, one-legged down dog. Bring those toes onto the heel. We shift it forward. Knee to nose. Maybe take the push-up. Last one. And then we inhale, wild thing. Exhale, left hand and knee lower for gate pose as we open it up to that side body. And then left hand lowers, right arm and leg lift. Swing it forward. Standing split to our forward fold or Malasana, which means you did it. Yay. All right. How we doing? Let's make our way to our seat. As we come to our seat, go ahead and take like your hang loose hand. So your your pinky finger and your thumb are the only ones that are not folded over. And we're gonna plug the right nostril as we inhale in through the left. Plug the left as we exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. And feel free to continue doing this. This is our alternate nostril breathing, which is great for balancing out each side of the brain or those hemispheres of the brain. And just allowing yourself to kind of feel a little bit less fog or a little bit more open or present. It's one of my teachers, Rod Stryker's, favorite breathing techniques. I joke that his answer to everything is alternate nostril breathing as the remedy, just like Windex is the remedy for my big fat Greek wedding. So just know that if you're having a day, maybe just try some alternate nostril breathing and see what happens. We're gonna make our way to a reclined space for our Shavasana. So what I would love for you to do is to just kind of find any sort of rocking motion that's nice and calming, either windshield wiper or happy baby pose or hands on the knees making circles, checking in with the body to see if there's anything else that you need to feel complete in this practice. If there isn't anything, the next place we're coming to will be our final pose of Shavasana, our final relaxation. So when you're ready, it is there, it is available for you. And I just want to encourage you to take up space as you come into this final pose of rest. I like to encourage you to take up space because our practice is a reflection of our lives off the mat. So if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. And then be so proud of yourself for making this commitment to you and your mat. Know that I'm so proud of you for doing so. And then just allowing your breath to be soft, your body to be still. Shavasana. As always, please stay here as long as you need. But if you're ready, you can start to deepen your breath, inviting small movements into the body, reaching the arms up overhead as you awaken to this new body, just getting this full stretch. And the knees draw into chest as we roll to one side, our pose for new beginnings. I observe without judgment. Take this feeling with you as you leave the mat. That is when our true yoga begins. We'll meet in a seated position of choice where hands come to heart center in our Anjali Mudra, and we tuck our chin under as we close our practice with Namaste. Thank you so much for being a part of this practice. It is truly an honor to be your guide. Until next time,